In my previous video, I talked about how to create the tool paths for this top side and how to create a pattern of three being made out of a longer tube of the stock. The stock material is 3 inches by 2 inches by 1/8 inch thick. So now we're going to look at the remaining sides and the remaining setups. So you can envision turning this entire thing in the vise so that this side is now up, where this would be the new origin, and the z-axis would be up and the x-axis would be along this line here. So to do that, we go to Setup. Under Orientation, go to the select z-axis / plane and x-axis. We're going to click on top to get the z-axis perpendicular to the top. Click x-axis, click along this line here, making sure that the x-axis is pointing to the right. If it isn't, if it's to the left, you can always flip it. And then we're going to go to Model Box Point and select the back corner here. So that is the origin and the orientation of the work coordinate system that is set up. Sometimes you have to click Model and click here so Inventor knows what the model is. Going to the Stock tab, we're going to do a fixed size box, and we're going to make the width 7 because we're going to make 3 of these out of this stock. And you need to go on the model position, offset from the -x, and hit a 0 offset so the model is on the left side of the stock here. Hitting OK, we're now ready to do the setup. If it does not say Setup 2, I recommend you change the name to Setup 2. Now we're going to do some analysis and see what we need to do here. It looks like we have some holes, and then we need to cut this end and then do a pattern of that. Doing an inspection measure, M is for short for measure, we can look at this hole diameter is 0.17 inches, which is very, very close to 0.1695, which is the close fit clearance hole for a number 8 screw. And we have drill bits in both mills for that hole size, since it is a popular hole size and popular screw size, especially for the Beck stuff. So what we're going to do is use that drill bit to drill these holes, and then we're going to use the 1/4 inch end mill to do a contour to cut this piece. So going to the Cam tab, first thing we're going to do is go to the drill, tool. I'm just going to pull from the VF3 library. You can always pull from the TM1 library. The VF3 library, I'm looking for the 0.1695 drill bit, which is happens to be the tool number 17. And notice in the notes it says it's a close fit for a number 8 screw. And we'll select that. The geometry, I'm going to select a hole. Instead of selecting them all, you can go select holes of the same diameter. However, I don't want to select the bottom. We're not going to drill all the way through like that. So what you can do is just click this where it selects only the ones at the same Z height. Now going to the Heights tab, looking at the side, you can see that by default the drill bit does not go all the way through. So we want to drill through the bottom, and we want an additional offset. 20 to 50 thousandths is the recommended default or recommended amount. I'm just going to go 50 thousandths, really making sure that that drill bit goes through. You can go deeper because it's air, but it's really kind of a waste of time to just have drilling go very deep. But technically you could do that and get away with it because there's nothing that the drill bit is going to hit below until you get to the other side. Now that we have that, we can just hit OK. So we have the drilling done. Now we need to do the end cut. To do this, I'm going to do 2D contour. Going to select the 1/4 inch flat end mill. On the VF3, that is tool number 4. That's the stub length one, or the really short length one, which is great for this type of operation. And then I'm going to go select. A good rule of thumb is to cut the feed rate in half when doing a full width slot cut. Realize we're cutting through all the material here as we're plowing that end mill through that in that contour. On the geometry, I'm going to select this top edge. You can select the bottom edge, but you're going to need to increase the lead in and lead out significantly to go the extra 1/8 inch for the wall thickness. So it really doesn't matter which one you select. I'm going to just select the top here, holding the Alt key when I do that, so I just get this instead of the entire perimeter. On the depth, Since I selected the top, I need to go an 1/8 of an inch plus any extra. I'm gonna go an extra 25,000, so basically from my selection, I need to go negative 1.5, which is 1.25, and then the additional 25,000 steep. And that's getting through everything plus some, plus the extra 25,000. Finally, on the lead-in and transitions, like we've done before, we're gonna change the lead-in sweep angle to 0, and the linear lead-in distance needs to be something greater than the radius of the end mill. I'm just gonna go 0.15 and hit OK. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. Basically, tool 17 is drilling, tool 4 is diving into air, cutting across the extra 25 thousandths, and then coming up here. Okay, so now that that is done, we are done with setup number 2, except for the pattern. To do the pattern, again, control, select what you want to make a pattern of, select the pattern button, do the direction. The direction is going to be to the right. You can flip it or just click that edge. Notice it's going to the right, but the spacing's wrong. We want the spacing to be the width of the part plus the 1/4 inch end mill, so 2.25, and we want 3 instances. I know I've gone through this fairly quickly, but I have spent quite a bit more time in my previous videos. Now we need to do this setup here, and then rotate it for this setup here. The thing that you notice about the next 2 setups is we really have the same hole size, and we're really doing the same thing. So I'm going to show you what I typically do is copy and paste tool paths, and you can do that and save a lot of time. So I'm just going to right click here and duplicate this entire setup. Now I'm going to change the name of it to setup 3. The first thing I need to do after I change the name is change the work coordinate system. And this gets a little funky as with the stock. You'll see the stock swapping around as I'm changing that. But when the final setup, everything will be fixed where this is the origin, X will be this way, Z will be pointing up. So I'm going to double click on this, go and deselect my old work coordinate systems here, okay? And then I'm going to make sure on the Z-axis that it is pointing up from here, and then the X-axis needs to be to the right along that line. It is pointing in the wrong direction. I can flip it by clicking here or flip it by clicking there. Now it's in the wrong spot. I need it here, so under the model box point, I need to go up to this location. And then we know what the model is here. And notice that the stock is already set up from what we copied from before. So now that that is set up, I can hit OK. Now what we need to change here is the geometry. So we have the same tool, the same depths that we did before, but the geometry is different. So on the geometry tab, deselect this, select the new geometry, hit OK, done. On the tool number 4, on geometry, deselect the old geometry, Alt left click along this edge, done. Notice it even keeps the pattern. So now we've done setup 3. Doing setup 4, right click duplicate. You can envision turning this up here. We're going to do the same thing. Now you might say, isn't setup 2 the same as setup 4? It isn't because of the asymmetry of these holes. Notice on the top here we have 2, then 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. But if when it's rotated like this, we have 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. And so we do need to have a separate setup for setup number 4. So we're going to go setup 4. We're going to double click and reset the work coordinate system by deselecting the old, and then select Z-axis is up from here. The X-axis is along this line here. I need to flip it, it looks like. And then finally, the model box point is in the back corner. So we have that stock setup, hit OK. Double clicking on the tool paths, tool 17, which is the drill bit. I'm just going to deselect the old geometry, select the new geometry, OK. And tool number 4, deselect the old geometry, Alt left click on this edge, OK. And now we're done. So that is typically how I do the setups. If I see something similar, I try to make duplicates and save me a lot of clicking. That's it.